to my Christian lovelies specifically. Merry Christmas week. I am a recovering Catholic. No offense meant. Trust me. My experience growing up in the Catholic Church was stereotypical and yet not in many ways. That's another video, potentially. But to my friends who celebrate Yule, Samhain, Hanukkah, any other holiday that went on during this month, happy and merry it to ya. We also have New Year's coming up next week. Very, very happy New Year. And I hope this coming year treats you better than any previous year ever has, my lovelies. You deserve that and more. So, what are we doing today? I was going to do my listening to the voices in our head video with NG that we did last week, this week, but I switched them, mostly because I thought it was more appropriate to have this come out this week. I am still looking to get a panel of authors together to do a TikTok authordom video. So if you know anyone who is an author over on TikTok who wants to talk about their process as a panel to end our second season, I hope to have that for everybody right after the beginning of the new year. Next week, you are going to get my video for sitting down with Soul Writer that I've been looking forward to and dreading. I promised I would do, not publicly, but an end of 2021 looking forward ahead to 2022 recap video. And that's going to be coming out next week. I am doing the pre-recorded videos this week. You're not going to get a live stream until after the new year, mostly because it's the holidays. My husband's family is decidedly, for part of the family, Celtic pagan. The other part of the family is various parts of Christendom. So we do celebrate Christmas, but not for the religious aspects necessarily. You know, I grew up believing it's about the birth of Christ and so on, but now I focus more on the fact that it's about family and new beginnings. So I'm really taking these 2 weeks of time to back away from YouTube, to back away from social media. We are going away to visit family. My husband's birthday is also this weekend, so we tend to take Christmas and make it the celebration a little longer because we don't shortchange him on his birthday. That's not fair. So if I'm a little out of touch, I apologize, but I will be getting back to you at the beginning of the new year. So for today, let's go ahead and do something I've been wanting to do for a while before I ramble too much and give you the wrong video this week. So we are doing the Naughty author tag. Not exactly sure if that's the full name, but that's the name I believe it was found under on my end, at least. Originally, Jenna Moreci, who, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, I always tend to, who is kind of known as, you know, one of the big self-publishing gurus on YouTube, came up with this a while back. I ran into it on Fee the Writer Bee's channel. Check out both channel links to both of them below. I really like, of course, what Jenna is doing, but Fee's channel is amazing. I love that she uses the virtual avatar. It reminds me of a couple of my friends who are gaming VTubers to a degree. So I like that vibe being here in Authortube as well. There are a couple of rules to this tag, and I'll have to explain a little bit. So rule number 1, and the rules and the questions are in the description box below as well if you want to follow along with me. Rule number 1, describe your work in progress in no more than 5 sentences. Okay. I'm focusing this on book 3 of the Arsinoëphorus Alliance because it is my current work in progress. That one is Frey and Lee's book, Bound by Vengeance and Mind. So I have 5 sentences. We pick up a couple of months after we left off in book 2, semicolon, yes, comma, you have to read book 1 and 2. Period. That's the first sentence. I cheated. I'm sorry. 2, Frey and Lee do end up together in the end. 3, no, it is not pretty. 4, I cannot promise the same happens for all other couples established as of the beginning of book 3. So I'm sorry, Ian and Neftiri. I'm also sorry to Bjorn and Rochelle, and I'm also sorry to Shimon and Magdalira, because those so far are our 3 established main couples that have been mentioned again and again ad infinitum, as Vovry would say. 5, get your tissues ready. I had to add a tragedy warning, finally, to the series because of this book. I think that kind of gives you context and no spoilers, as my Nisama Yubaka would call it. He is the reason why I try to keep everything context, no spoilers around here whenever I'm allowed and able to be. Okay? So, because of the work in progress I pick 1 as appropriate for rule number 2. So, rule number 2 has a part A and a part B. Rule number 2's A. Fewer than 15 characters. You can use the same name more than twice. Larger than 15 characters. You cannot. You can only use them once, okay? So since I have more than 15 characters, way more than 15 characters in my cast as a whole, I want with B, I cannot repeat anybody's name. So the first question asks, what character is so into the holidays they nearly caused a street-wide power outage from all their Christmas lights? Ian. Surprisingly enough, Ian. He is, of course, Mr. Electricity. Lightning and thunder are his power. That's a tad part of it. The other part of it just is, it's something he gets into doing with his children, who you will meet in books 6 through 8. I don't think I've said their names yet around here. Maybe I'll hold that off. I know their names. I have met Ian's kids. Not going to tell you who their mother is. I have met Ian's kids. You probably know who their mother is, let's get real. But he develops a bond with them over stuff like that. If it's something they're really into, he gets into it. That's just him. And I could really very much foresee that his house is the one that you roll up to, and it's every inch is covered with lights, but it does not bother you. It looks great. So that would be Ian. Number 2 asks, which character attends the office's New Year party with one date and goes home with someone else? This, believe it or not, everyone is going to predict, like, Mardigan, Frey, Lee. You're going to guess those. Believe it or not, it's the wingless fairy king himself, Arya. He is pansexual. He and Frey both have a history of being loosey-goosey males. Sorry. I didn't mean to call you human. I'm sorry. No offense meant, boys, men, gentlemen, whatever. Anyway, but it would definitely most likely be Arya to be the first to do it, and the others would just follow suit. Arya has less tact than you would think for a king. Anyway, 3, which character is more than happy to steal Hanukkah gelt from poor unsuspecting children. That's going to be the chocolate coins. And of course, a lot of people are going to be, wait a minute. Arya's one of the descendants from the sons of Gideon who became king of the Fae. Meaning he's from the Hebrew Jewish culture. Why isn't he the answer to this? Because Mardigan. Mardigan is the mean uncle of the group when it comes to the winged ones. He will be a little mean, crotchety old man to a child if he wants to. Yes, it causes problems on occasion in Bjorn and Rochelle's house. Sorry. Anyway, number 4, fill in the blanks. I saw blank doing a whole lot more than blanking Santa Claus. They were full on action. Oh, God. I saw Lee doing a whole lot more than scrubbing Santa Claus's feet. They were full on action. That's a reference to a line from book 1 of the Arsinoëphorus Alliance. Specifically, Lee is saying it to then Christian, now Ian, when like it's one of his first days kind of living among them. And Lee says something to the effect of, I want to scrub your feet, Sunwalker, not give you the greatest tongue lashing or tongue laving you will ever know, making it dirty eventually, as the Lady Lee will do. 5. One of your characters decides to pre-game before church and passes out in the middle of the Christmas service. Gorgor. He is one of the winged ones. He has a hard time staying awake during ritual kind of functions like this. There is eventually, potentially, hopefully this joke scene makes it in there. It might get cut, but there is a moment in book 3 where it's mentioned that he will even fall asleep from pre-gaming too hard for weddings. So keep that in mind. If he's doing that for weddings, imagine what he's doing for Christmas Mass. And this is coming from a Catholic. Mass for us normally is at midnight on Christmas Eve. Yes, I've stayed up for it. Loved it as a kid. It's so hard as an adult. Anyway, great way to keep your kid entertained, though. I will admit that. It made for a long night for my mom, but I'm sure she's glad how tired Christmas Mass could make us sometimes. Number 6. Which character hasn't been seen since winter began because they refused to deal with the snow? This is a funny answer. Neftiri. Ian loves Christmas. He loves the cold. He loves that time of year. Neftiri does not. She was born in the desert. She likes it a little bit warmer. And yeah, it's literally the reason why she hated traveling to Sweden, to Amaranth, to visit Bjorn for stuff as a diplomat for the Alliance. So, yeah, no snow for her. 7. Which character completely forgot about the holidays and ends up regifting to everybody? Bjorn. The Swedish werewolf chieftain of Amaranth himself. He is not so good about paying attention to non-specific to his life holidays. He also, at one point, is like, I have so many children, I can't even barely keep their birthdays straight. How do you expect me to keep, a non-me religion holiday straight? Because he's Viking, Swiss Viking, and he hooks up with Rochelle, who's French Northman, couple generations after the Vikings moved into that area Viking. So, yeah, they don't necessarily celebrate Christian stuff because it wasn't even in their human lives. Keep that in mind. 8. Which character has such crappy luck they only discover their potato allergy after picking out on latkes? This is an ironic answer. You have to understand what carbs and simple sugars do to fairies in my book. It's like cocaine to them, basically. So drinking a soda for Tus, Mardigan, Arya is like sugar high for a little 3-year-old amplified times 1,000 at minimum. So you can imagine the crash from that. Now picture an allergy to potatoes, which are full of simple sugars and carbs and starches, which your body tends to want to treat more like carbs than protein and stuff. Bouncy, bouncy, bounce, 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 crash. Tigger would have nothing on Tus. Nothing. I'm sorry, Tus. I'm sorry, dude. You are the smallest build out of everyone in the group, even once you age up from something to something, and I didn't give you a context of something and no spoilers. Ooh. Anyway, so, number 9. The Krampus has arrived to punish your very bad characters. Which characters are kind of into it, Frey? I'm not gonna lie. The dude walks around with a fallen angel living in his soul and his head. It would be like hanging out with Ezekiel, is all he'll tell me. 10. One of your characters should be on the naughty list, but has convinced Santa to clear their name. Which character is it, and what was their means of persuasion? Rochelle is going to be the one who gets out of it, because A, Bard, enough said. You're like, wait a minute, what about Arya and Mardigan? B, Rochelle was a queen, so she has the diplomatic angle going on, so you're like, wait a minute, Arya is a king. He's not good at the king thing, and admits it, to a degree. He is actually part of the reason why there is a light fae and a dark fae in my books, and I go with the Seelie Unseelie court deals, so keep that in mind. And wow, that was a quick 10 questions. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, for sure, for sure. Oh, wow. I'm just kind of looking and realizing this year is indeed almost over, my lovelies. It's been a very long year. We've had a very long journey. Some of us have been naughty, but I hope on the whole you've been nice to yourself, okay? Please, especially as we go into the new year, put you first. No one else is going to, sadly enough, because you're definitely worth it. Love you, my lovelies. Take care. Happy Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Safe Yuletide. Happy Samhain. And Happy New Year. Blessed be to you and yours. Bye.